Ladies and gentlemen, boys and NBs, welcome back once again to Warzone, and it's time to talk about snipers and sniper supports. As with Season 4, we got the Kar 98K back. I'm going to be honest, I think it's mid, but everyone else is in love with it. It's decent, it does what it's supposed to. It's just not the sniper for me. I'm a DMR boy at heart, but if I'm going to use a sniper, I'm going to use a different one. Get into that later. Like the video, subscribe, comment below how you feel about the Kar 98. I'm doing a different style with this video. Also, let me know if you like where I do gameplay with the overlay of a screenshot, or if you would rather I do a more casual where I break down stats like I am today. On that note, let's get into this. All right, so first up, we do need to talk about the Saperi 46, which is absolutely the best sniper support option in the game, except for a singular gun that is absolutely busted, is literally bugged. It is the only reason it is better. However, this is meant to be the absolute best sniper support gun in the game, and it is incredible in this role and as an SMG. But right now, we're just talking about a sniper support. The build on screen is what you're gonna want to use for sniper support. We're gonna use the ZEM 35 compensator to get that recoil control, and it's not gonna cost us much in stats. I'm pretty sure you guys already know the stats on this. You're gonna lose a very small amount of bullet velocity to get 5% horizontal, 15 vertical to bring this gun absolutely to zero recoil with all the movement attachments we add on. We do lose 6% of our aim down sight, but we're at 205, which is insanely fast for Warzone, and you know this. We're also going to add on the Hound Guard heavy barrel to maximize our range. As this is sniper support, we're going to need to be able to push those fights to that 45-meter range, roughly, give or take. This gun, being in 4.6, has absolute phenomenal bullet velocity. This barrel is going to hurt our movement, but we don't need to worry about that because we'll bring it back up. 112 milliseconds on the sprint to fire, absolutely wonderful. We're going to throw the 40-round magazine on this gun. We're going to use the DR6 hand stop to up our movement because of what the barrel had done and get the majority of it back and lose stats that we don't really care about except for stability, but we get stability out of the barrel. And then we're going to finish the gun off with the Rescue 9 stock, which again, this is going to make our movement go through the absolute roof, and we're going to get the recoil control out of it. Now, if you really want to, you can use the cutthroat and it will feel absolutely great. I'm not gonna lie and say it doesn't. This isn't my play style, though. If you're on a controller, you'll probably like this better. Try both. I prefer the Rescue 9 over the cutthroat, but this is dealer's choice between these two. Feels phenomenal both ways. Just quickly putting it on screen so you can get the screenshot if you want it. And then, all right, the Kar 98K, our other new gun. First and foremost, I use the SPX if I'm gonna use a long scope. So the SPX is my choice. Use the scope of your choice for that. I have here my long range build. I use the sling for 2 reasons instead of the laser. 3 really. Number 1, there's no visible laser, but number 2, I'm getting the flinch resistance as well as the aim idle stability. It's only costing me a little bit of aim down sight movement speed because we don't really have any in the first place, so we're not really losing anything to get here with this attachment. With the recon sling, it is absolutely worth it for aim idle sway and flinch resistance in this attachment. We're going to use the sonic suppressor for damage and range. We're going to use this barrel that I cannot pronounce, the long barrel, to push out our damage range to its maximum, get our bullet velocity almost to 1,000 meters per second. We're not really losing anything too terrible in the stats here. We are going to have a 429 millisecond aim down sight speed, so remember, this is not a quick scope build. I'll show you that one in a second. And then, of course, high grain to push out damage range, velocity, just like before. However, if you do want to build this out for quick scoping, first and foremost, the optic that I would use, because if I throw on, I'll use the Kar 98K specific to show you, I'm sure you've seen this yourself, this gun actually gets a awful reticle ring from being too far away. And that is because they're trying to mimic a real-life effect, which is no big deal. Instead, if you're going to use the stockless mod, I would not use any of the big scopes. Instead, I would use the Forge Tac Delta 4 from Modern Warfare 2, because with this, you are not going to get any of that ring, and you're going to be able to actually hit your shots and get that quick scope build together. However, I would not run this gun this way. If I am running this like this, I'm actually going to drop my suppressor. I'm going to throw on the the Ole V laser on this gun. So with this build, I've upped my speed, I've gotten stability, I've got a very fast aim in, and pardon me, I am actually sitting in a recliner on a laptop right now, so don't mind me missing half my shots. However, there is another way to build this that is going to be great for Rebirth Island in particular, and for that, we're actually going to take the barrel off. We're going to use a brand new attachment that we just got with this, the Silentium 792 suppressor. This suppressor is incredible. Not only do we suppress the gun, we get bullet velocity and aim idle sway. Now, we only have a 66.6 meter one-shot range. That doesn't really matter when all of your fights, not all of them, but I'd say 80% are going to fall in that range. And if you need to take 2 shots, we did it all last year. It's not hard to do, but this thing absolutely fries with this setup. I want to show you how on par this is. This does not move for a no stock. So you can just aim in and take your shots. And if you're better than me, you can hit them all immediately. Like I said, I am in a recliner on a laptop, so cut me some slack. But this thing absolutely hits its targets on the quick scopes if you can aim. And then lastly, I did want to show you the big map build. This is what I would use on the big map, and that would be, again, throw the tactical sling on, take off the OLAV, throw on the big boy barrel, throw on the sonic suppressor, and then we are going to go back up to our SPX scope or scope of your choice and use this one here for big map. Next up, we've got what I think is probably the 3rd best option for sniper support, and that is the striker, but I think this is honestly the best SMG for Season 4, with the Saperi being number 2 in the SMG category. So with this build, we're going to use the ECS for Quieter to get a 2-in-1 attachment. This is going to suppress our gun as well as giving us firing aim stability and aim down sight. It's going to give us a 229 millisecond aim down sight with the 115 base sprint to fire speed. This is wonderful. We're going to throw on the Striker Recon long barrel to push out that range as far as we can. We're going to gain a little bit of sprint to fire, but that's not a big deal. We're going to throw on the FSS Priority Tactical stock because we're going to get recoil control, a whole bunch of movement for only 2% of aim down sight. Gun kick really isn't a thing in this game anymore. I actually plan to cover aim stability and gun kick as well as recoil and what they all do in a video this week. So please subscribe to the channel if you would like to see exactly what all of these numbers mean. I covered the magic formula for your bullet velocity versus your effective range in a video a couple of weeks ago. That was a banger. I appreciate you guys. Now I'm going to do it for the recoil and accuracy sections. To finish off this build, we've got the Chook angled grip on. You can use the DR6 if you want, but personally, that 7% of aim down sight for movement and horizontal recoil control is absolutely worth it. You can go with the DR6 and you can go for raw movement. I just personally feel like with the sniper support role, that little bit of recoil control and the aim stability is absolutely worth it. We're going to throw the 48 round mag on as our last attachment to make this thing an absolute banger. Here it is for your screenshot if you would like a screenshot. Now, there's really only one build that I would say to run on the Cat. The Cat really isn't worth using anymore unless you're trying to hit those absurdly long range shots, but the bullet velocity on this thing is absolute dog water. With the 885.3 millimeters per second bullet velocity, you're not going to be hitting super long shots unless they are standing still, which this game's absolutely cracked out movement. It's not going to be often you see that in the higher skill brackets, which I'm assuming the majority of you are if you are looking at videos for gun builds. It's here if you want it. Here's the build. Take the screenshot if you want it. The Cat is mid. It's probably going to be the worst sniper on here, but it's here. So if you want it, there it is. Okay, so I'm going to start by actually showing you the screenshot portion of this because I'm going to give you a DMR. This thing is an absolute monster. If you're playing duos with a Kar 98, run this while your boy runs the Kar 98 and you will absolutely slay everyone. You will be able to put down absolutely everyone in your path without flinching unless they hit you. This gun has an absurd bullet velocity, 0 recoil, and you're able to put shots down range almost as fast as having an assault rifle, and it does absurd damage. With this optic, you have no sniper glint, so they don't even know what you're shooting them with, and they are going to go, "What is that?" when you kill them every time, just about, from my experience. To get into the stats of this gun with this build, we have 1,270 meter per second bullet velocity, a 352 millisecond aim down sight speed. Our movement speed is phenomenal, minus while aim down sight because it has those sniper qualities for aim down sight, and our recoil is wonderful. We're going to use the VT7 Spirit Fire Suppressor with the Tempest Predator long barrel. Now this barrel is going to give us our aim idle stability as well as our bullet velocity and range. We're going to get even more with the firing aim stability that the Spirit Fire has, as well as recoil control, bullet velocity, and range. I know it doesn't say that it has stability, but it does just a little bit. You can see it right here. You can use the 30 round just to keep our speed up. You can use the 60 if you want to. If you find yourself running out of ammo, absolutely go to the 60. It's not a big deal. We're going to use the Crotalus Assault Stock because this is going to give us the maximum recoil stats out of any of the attachment slots available for only 3% aim down sight, which again is 352, which is insane. I'm using the AOK 4 times because again, there's no sniper glint and it's actually a very clean reticle. Let me show you real quick. This thing absolutely fries. I missed a couple of shots there. Again, I am on a laptop. And again, just want to say, you don't have to pair these together. Mix and match to your heart's desire. However, I do want to talk about the Chimera. The Chimera has been good for a long time, but now it is actually in the top tier meta, and this build feels absolutely phenomenal. If you do need an optic, take off the stock and put on the optic that you would use. We're going to start with the Chook. Again, you can use the DR6 if you would like. Just remember, the Chook is giving you your aim idle stability as well as that 6% horizontal recoil control, while giving you your movement stats for only 6% aim down sight speed. With the DR6, you will get more aim down sight speed and sprint to fire, but you will lose your aim idle sway. So that is a big thing to worry about when you're pushing those 45 to 60 meter fights. You're going to use the 45 round mags. It's the largest option we have. We are going to use the D37 to get recoil control into this gun, along with the Chook. There's not really much on this, especially on a controller. I'm going to use the M13C factory stock because this is going to give us movement benefits. We're then going to throw on the Chimera RY-L33 laser because we need to get our ADS sprint to fire up. The Chimera feels absolutely wonderful. It feels like it did last year, but faster. I guess that's good if you like the cracked out movement speed. I personally was a fan of last year over this year. I'm sure you guys know that by now if you're this deep into the video. And then, all right, I'm still using the Stalker. The Stalker feels absolutely wonderful. It's the same build I've been using for quite a while now. You can swap out to the default scope if you want the quick bolt, but I'd much rather have the Heinrichter. Overall, the reticle's better, everything's better about the scope, and it takes aim down sight time off your gun. And that is in the amount of 5% aim down sight speed, and it gives you 7% to your movement speed, which is essentially nothing. So we're going to use the XRK Stoic 4 suppressed barrel because number one, we're going to get our suppression out of this, but we're also going to get 20% to our damage ranges, pushing us out to 70 meters for our one shot. We are also going to get a 30% bonus to our bullet velocity. We have the high grain rounds in here because again, we need to push out our range so we can hit those one shots at the 70 meters. So we can at least compete with the Kar 98 within its range, and we're getting the bullet velocity that we need to hit those long-range snipes. We're going to use the FSS OLAV laser for aim stability as well as aim down sight and sprint to fire. We're going to throw on the Ural M stock for the aim idle and firing aim stabilities. That way, this thing absolutely does not move. And I did want to show you why the build is this way. There is almost no movement in the scope. So if you do need to hard scope for a second and take a long shot, it's very easy to hit when you are not on a laptop in a recliner. And then once again, still in the sniper support category and absolutely frying is the WSP9. The Uzi is incredible still. So for this build, once again, ECS required. You can use the ZEHM 35 compensator instead if you would like. Only one difference, this has a slower aim down sight. You get a little bit of recoil control. DR6 hand stop because we are going to be flying and frying with this, trying to get up close and personal. We are going to use the 40 round mag. If you're going to be going into anything above duos, I would go to the 50. Otherwise, 40 should do the job. You need the 50, take the 50, always always. The the TAC 20 rear grip for the sprint to fire speed. That way we can negate the open bolt delay of this gun. It is going to cost us 6% recoil control. That's why I said use the ZEM if you need it. I don't feel the need. This gun has almost no recoil. Give it a shot with the requider before you just go straight to the ZEM. With that open bolt delay, that means when you pull the trigger, there's a 50 millisecond delay before the first bullet comes out. That's why we want to get this insane 67 millisecond sprint to fire. So you will absolutely fry people without problem. And all right, I did throw the Moors in here. I still do use this build mainly on Rebirth. It's a bit of a slower build for Rebirth, but it does work. I'll use it on Big Map and Duos just because I'm so used to using it. Even with the velocity change, it still feels good. You just got to get used to it having that slower velocity. And that velocity is only 792 meters per second, so it do be feeling like Modern Warfare 2 era Warzone snipers with the explosive rounds because it is just slow as dicks. But it is what it is. With a ton heavy barrel on, if you want to charge it up, go ahead and do so. It is perfectly fine to do it. I just cannot stand charging it. I have the Black Cell version, that's why it's not unlocked. And I don't hit a whole lot of one-shot kills because I gotta break plates. We use the anti-material rounds to up our damage, and that is what's killing our velocity. If you're more worried about just long-range sniping, I would go with the explosive rounds or no rounds. Honestly, it is entirely up to you. The explosive rounds are actually very good on this gun because you will get that one-shot range to 82 meters and you will have 910 meters per second pull velocity. But you can also swap out and throw on something like the fast rechamber. FSS OLAV laser, aim down sight, sprint to fire, and aim idle stability. Heinrichter gives us ADS speed, a cleaner reticle, and more zoom. And then I am using the center 6 grip because this is going to give us a massive boon to flinch resistance and allow us to hit the ARs that are shooting at us from 70 meters out and absolutely clap their cheeks. We also have the aim idle sway on this, and it's only costing us a little bit of aim walking speed. This is such a clutch attachment. Stone Mountain fell in love with it. I think that's why he shouted me out the other day. And all right, I'm putting the hemlock on your screen for a reason, and I have to show you this for you to believe me what's going to happen here because I know I sound crazy putting the hemlock on screen. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to go down here and we're going to grab 300 black frangible. I want to show you the stats here. As you can see, a bunch of our stats change. We drop to 550 for our rate of fire. We lose some range, which is 300 black. That's supposed to happen. Recoil dives up and our damage dives up. So let's put that on and let's throw on our 45 round mag. Now let's complete our build by throwing on the Cypher 121 barrel. And watch when I show you these stats what this does. Our rate of fire is back to 600. Our damage stays where it is even though it says it does not. Our range does drop back down. However, it jumped back up before dropping down, so we're actually gaining range, and we gained all of this recoil control off of this singular attachment. We now have a 300 black rifle that is firing at the speed of a 5.56 rifle. This thing is so busted, it is killing people in under 500 milliseconds within that 18.9 meter range. It is insane how good this build actually is. Again, with the aim down sight being at 238, I went with the DR6 with the 164 for the sprint to fire as well. However, you can go to the Chook if you would like. You still get the movement, you get a little bit of horizontal. This thing just feels so good, man. Like, watch how fast this target gets deleted. And those are all to the gut. I really probably should have grabbed a mouse for this. I am literally using a touchpad. But yeah, it will absolutely delete people, and that's about all I'm going to show you with a trackpad. We're going to use the Razorhawk laser just to up our speeds as fast as we possibly can. We're getting walking steadiness as well, but the sprint to fire aim down sight is what we're after. This build is the absolute best sniper support option in the game right now. I'm sure they will fix this as soon as they figure out that it is a thing in the game. As soon as someone like Iceman Isaac sees it, it'll be over. But until then, use this to your heart's desire. Again, DR6 to the Chook if you want the stability. Another gun that is absolutely phenomenal right now. It's been good for a long time and no one's been using it. I put it in an older video. That is the Rival 9 with the Burst aftermarket kit, the Headhunter carbine kit on it. This thing is insane. They buffed its fire rate by a metric shit ton. This thing fires so fast, it is ridiculous. We're gonna use the ZEM 35 compensator for a little bit of recoil control. We're gonna use the DR6 hand stop for the ADS, sprint to fire, and movement speed. We're gonna throw on the Marauder stock to bring those stats up even higher and get our aim idle stability here. We're gonna throw on the 50 round drum because we are gonna need it because this thing fires insanely fast now. Before they buffed the fire rate, I was using the 40, but look at how fast this thing fires, boys. It is absolutely insane. It is absolutely ridiculous how good the Headhunter carbine kit is on the Rival 9. Here's the build, screenshot it if you want it. There it is. This is my favorite gun in the sniper support position currently, even though the Hemlock is absolutely better, and I would say the Superior is more reliable. This is a high skill weapon. All right, on that note, it's gonna do it for me. If you're still here and you haven't subscribed, what are you doing? There's a Discord below. Make sure to hit that because we have almost 200 people in there, always looking for games, trading tips, and they've known about the Hemlock since the first day of the patch. So if you're still here, join the Discord, like the video, and comment below your thoughts on this busted Hemlock. Should they make more Modern Warfare 2 guns better within Modern Warfare 3 era Warzone? And on that note, I'm out. Until next time, leave me alone.
Still shit out of